All right guys, Garry Dean, detailjuice.com. This is I think it's a 2021 Sea-Doo GTX Limited 300. It's had some work done to the hull. Bottom of the hull's been completely repainted. You can see paint sags. You can also see crazy overspray and dry spray. I'm gonna have to get most of this material off of here to make sure it's gonna stick. This is actually just flaking away. It's all flaking away down in here. So I just wanted to show what's going on before I get rolling. I expressed to the customer there will be no warranty given on this job. There was, I guess the reason for the repair was there was a fiberglass crack right in here, and it was repaired there. You can see some stuff here, other tape lines. So, and he painted all of the hull. You can see he painted here as well. All of that was painted. Their tape line there. So he just wants it to look better, he says, and to potentially make it look better for a potential buyer. So I think he's trying to move this thing because of the issues, but I'll bring you back when I've got more done. Just so that you guys are familiar with my process. This has obvious delamination, so I'm gonna have to take this down pretty good until I'm confident that the rest is not gonna delaminate. There's two ways to do it. So you can take off the factory finish completely, but I have spoken to Fasco Epoxies. They are the people who make Super Slick 2000, and in areas where there's no obvious delamination, you can take it down to just the grit of the sandpaper. And I use this DeWalt orbital sander. And my preference for grit and paper is this Serious Grit 40 grit. So I'm gonna put that on there and literally sand the piss out of this thing. Then after that, after it's all sanded down and I'm happy with it, I'm gonna apply 2 to 3 coats of this Bulldog adhesion promoter. This is basically a clear primer, essentially, that allows for more flex, and basically it's for if you're painting plastics and that kind of thing. These hulls tend to flex a lot, so that's where this comes into play. Some people talk about epoxy primer, but specifically Fasco Epoxies has told me that this is what I should be using. So I don't Google questions about Super Slick. I call my contacts over at Fasco Epoxies and Fiberglass Warehouse to ask them any questions that I have. The way I apply the Bulldog adhesion promoter is one of two ways. I got my compressor just sitting outside the shop right now. I'm not going to use that today. I'm actually going to use a Preval sprayer. Okay, so I'm going to put the adhesion promoter in here, and then I will spray it on the bottom 2 to 3 coats and make sure it's even. I do 2 coats, 5 to 10 minutes apart. 2 to 3 coats, depending on how it's looking, as far as it being even, because out of that Preval sprayer, it's a kind of a random orientation how the spray comes out. So sometimes I'll go back and do lighter coverage areas with another coat. So 2 to 3 coats, 5 to 10 minutes apart, and then I let the last coat sit for 20 or so minutes, and then I just get right in there and start applying the Super Slick. So again, I work directly with the manufacturer, and I do what the manufacturer tells me to do. I don't play games with guesswork. I do exactly what they tell me to do. That way, if something goes wrong, I have then done exactly what I've been told by the manufacturer, and then they can get involved. So just explaining the situation to everybody, should you care, but that is my process. I always sand the piss out of everything with 40 grit sandpaper and that machine sander. Then I wipe down with isopropyl alcohol, 70% isopropyl alcohol. Right here, I wipe it down with 70%. Then I wipe it down with Prep All wax and grease remover. So I do 2 wipes, 2 real thorough wipes to make sure there's no weirdness on the surface prior to the adhesion promoter. And then I put the Super Slick right on top of the adhesion promoter. So just giving you an idea of the process around here. There are a lot of guys out there that want to talk about what they think they know on these detailing groups and forums, but they don't know what they're talking about. If they are not an installer, it is not likely that they are correct in their speculation or whatever. So my advice to you, if you're concerned about Super Slick, you've got questions about it, you can call me. My cell phone number is 813-846-4406. You can ask me anything you'd like. I'm transparent. I'm an open book. Anybody can do this process if you decide that you'd like to do it on your own. Not complicated. It is kind of, if you're not doing it for a living, you're probably not going to want to invest in all of this. It's probably easier and cheaper to have someone like myself to install. But this is a Harbor Freight engine hoist. This is just the 1-ton job, which is a 2,000-pound deal. You can get these slings on eBay. Not complicated. I lift them off the trailer and up in the air with the sling and the engine hoist. I put some blankets down so that when I'm laying underneath there sanding, I'm semi-comfortable. I also use a respirator. And thought I had a respirator up here. I guess I don't. I use a respirator, which gotta find that. A respirator, and I wear glasses. So when you're sanding, you want to cover your eyes, and you want to cover your lungs and your mouth and all of that, because obviously stuff's toxic. Fortunately, the Super Slick is a 2-part epoxy. So it's, I think it's VOC free. There's not a lot of VOCs, volatile organic compounds in that. So that's good. So as far as what you're going to breathe in, the adhesion promoter probably has more isocanates and that kind of stuff that you need to worry about than the Super Slick does. So that's what's going on. If you got questions for me, let me know. Like I said, my cell phone number is 813-846-4406. Thanks for watching, guys. And I'll catch you on the next one. Okay. This Super Slick job is complete. Taped around the intake grate. All the things. Took care of all the issues that I could. I'm pretty particular about straight tape lines. We just do a little smiley up there with the tape, make it look nice. That is not Super Slick, it is something else. But I just touched it, unfortunately. Here's the other side. Looks good to me. As most of you guys know, it goes on with a roller. We don't spray this stuff on. It's epoxy. It's a 2-part epoxy deal. But that's it. Pretty solid quality install, if I do say so myself. All right, so if you want Super Slick 2000 on your ski, give me a call, 813-846-4406. I've done a lot of them. I enjoy doing them. It's a lot of work. I am less expensive than most. I use more material than most. And I like to think I'm a nicer guy than most. Anyway, so if you want super slick or you need something custom done, give me a shout. Use the cell phone number, 813-846-4406. This is a 2021 Sea-Doo GTX 300 Limited. This thing, as you saw at the beginning of the video, had lots of issues. Like I mentioned, I go by what Fasco Epoxies, the maker of Super Slick 2000, recommends for application procedure. If I have a question with anything as far as if the application is going to be different than normal, specifically something like this, I call Fasco and I talk to them about it and make sure that they approve the methods and the things I'm going to do to install this stuff. So as far as the process goes, I mentioned that in the earlier part of the video. I always use 40 grit. Let me show you. So I use 40 grit sandpaper. Maybe I can find my sander. Oh, here it is. I use 40 grit sandpaper. Okay. I told you I like this serious grit stuff. I always use glasses and a respirator, PPE, personal protection equipment. After the 40 grit sand, and like I mentioned earlier, if there's no obvious delamination, Fasco Epoxies does not require all of the material to be removed. If there is obvious delamination, it is the best practice to remove the material that's delaminating completely, excuse me, completely, and then go about the process of installing the Super Slick. They do not recommend specifically epoxy primer. I've heard that before. And if you're watching this video, there was a guy who asked me if I use epoxy primer. No, I do not use epoxy primer. Fasco Epoxies recommends that you use Bulldog Adhesion Promoter if you question whether or not the bond is going to be good. I generally use this on every ski. As far as this stuff goes, it's expensive, but it is the best adhesion promoter that there is. So if you're installing this stuff and you are doing something that you feel like needs a little bit extra, like security in the bond or adhesion promotion, that's what Fasco Epoxies has told me to use. The Bulldog. I did spray it out of a Preval sprayer today, this little glass thing. I fill it up and then I use the sprayer. I use all of the different color Super Slicks. This one, I felt like the black was the best option. I do have the gray pigment, which is right here. The gray wouldn't have matched this as well. I believe the Sea-Doo has an Explorer and a Fish Pro that has a similar gray, but Fasco Epoxies knows about the Yamaha delamination issues, and they gear all of their colors. Like, for example, I got their dark blue, the light blue, there's a medium blue, there's a red. I carry all the colors, but like I said, they generally develop their pigments for Yamahas. So if you need Super Slick 2000 in the Tampa Bay area, or if you want to bring it to me, or if you want me to pack my stuff and come to you, it's definitely going to cost you more. And I'm going to need 2 days to do the work, and you need to have a garage. I can do that. So if you're a little bit farther out and you don't mind paying me for time and travel, in addition to the Super Slick 2000 installation, I'd be more than happy to oblige. So anyway, if you need me, let me know. If you want Super Slick, let me know. I do own a full-blown custom shop, so we also do many different things. I'm actually updating the website now, and soon we'll have far more information for you on our list of services. I also just hired a new guy that's going to help me with a lot of this stuff. I stay very busy, and it's time to expand. So let me know if you need me. Thanks for watching, guys. Check out detailjuice.com for all your detailing product needs as well. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.